Hello and welcome. We are back again, Flavia and Nick Rizzo from the ADHD Entrepreneur Community Facebook group. If you haven't heard about it, join on in. It's pretty sweet. And, as we said the other day, we have a little bit of some exciting news coming around. I think we're both pretty hyped up about it. We've talked to some people in the group, and they're equally excited about it. They can't really wait for us to kind of release all of the details. But everything comes in time. So, like we said, we've got a little bit of an announcement to make today. So, Flavia, why don't you kind of start us off a little bit here?
Right. So the first thing I wanted to tell you guys is we'd like to invite you for a live that we're doing on Thursday at 7 p.m. EST, where we're going to dig in deep into what we're going to talk to you about right now. So as you guys know, since we took over the group, we've been doing surveys, we've been doing polls and things like that and talking to people to figure out what it is that you guys are struggling the most with. And you know that when you join the group, you answer us a few questions. And so we've looked through everything that you have been telling us about what you're struggling with, having ADHD and trying to run your business and grow your business. And obviously there is a very common ground. And we also figured out that obviously it's the things that Nick and I have been working hard on the last, couple of years, especially the last 6 months. Yeah. And we've been trying to do as much as we can for you guys in the group to help you tackle these things. But we can only do so much in the group. Number one, because if we do it to the level that we want to do it, it's a full-time job. And with Facebook, how it's working at the moment as well, especially with the engagement, making sure everyone's on task, making sure that everyone's actually trying those things, because we want to actually be able to help you, right? So we decided that the best idea would be to put something together that is as practical as it can be. It's not the same stuff that you guys have seen us do in the past couple of months. We worked really hard on this to put it in a way that it flows, it makes sense, and it's going to change your perspective of how you operate to run. And you start implementing straight away. It's no fuss. It's straight to the point. It's really practical for the person who has ADHD, because Nick and I know what it's like. Can you tell us, Nick, your experience, how you used to operate before you found what really works and what doesn't, how you got to the point of figuring all that stuff out?
Yeah, I mean, one thing too to note before that is, as we were reading like your answers to when you join the group, to when you make posts, to some of you guys respond to the emails, to the polls, all that stuff, every time I was reading those things, a lot of the times it just I kept getting flashbacks to when I was struggling a ton in my business. And things were just not working at all, and I felt incompetent almost, which is the issue. Is that if I go back a year, 2 years, I was literally all over the place, doing tons of different things all the times, and never really being consistent in following through on a certain concept or idea within my business to give it the time it needs to really flourish and to develop into something that's really going to make a difference in my business and the people I try to serve. And that kind of happened for about 2.5 years. And, a lot of the times it was just, I'm doing X, Y, or Z, and then all of a sudden there's a new idea, and I just started doing that instead. And there's no organization, there was no structure to what I was doing. There was no, way of knowing what I was doing, if it was working or not. There was no way of knowing whether my audience was even receiving it. I wasn't doing any of these things to really get to know. And so from that point, once I kind of made a realization that I wasn't going to let all this noise in the space that we work in as entrepreneurs to continually derail me from what I was trying to do, I started to block all that out. And I think from that point, which is probably about 1.5 years ago when that happened, till now, has been essentially developing and testing and experimenting with different aspects of things within my business to see what works for me and what doesn't. And what I found over time is that as I got one thing that worked for me, I would end up finding something that made the next thing I would find out that worked for me would just like gel really well with that first part. And then I would try a couple different things, and then There you go. Another piece to the puzzle was found. And every time that happened, I felt more confident. I started to realize that my ADHD wasn't really going to hold me back. Like it sounds corny, but like, you know, my ADHD would literally have me pulled over all the places and never really staying consistent in my business and getting shit done and actually making a difference. And so as I started finding all these little pieces and plugging them in, it was a whole new world. I had a whole new perspective on what it meant to be an entrepreneur, to own your own business. And I was like, all right, well, you know, is this happening anywhere else? And so I started looking into other people's businesses that I knew from private membership communities that I'm in. And I started to learn about, you know, what are people doing in their business and the details, the stuff that you don't get to see on social media, the things you don't get to. So I started having conversations with really successful entrepreneurs, people that own 2 or 3 different businesses, doing well over 7 figures a year. Another friend of mine, she has a business where she's in Whole Foods with her food, and she's all like blowing up essentially. She's left her job and she's making double what she used to make at a regular job. And I started seeing that all these things that I've been developing, they are things that are necessities in successful businesses. These are the things that make the difference whether or not you can get to that point. These are the things that I found across the board. If you don't have, it almost becomes an inevitable thing that your business will struggle consistently until you can't do it anymore. And so, you know, the things that they were doing, though, they weren't, you know, they made sense to them because these were all neurotypical people. They weren't like ADHD like us. And I saw that what I was doing was similar in regards to what they were doing, but made specifically for how my brain works, how I perceive things, how I think about, you know, solving certain problems in my business, and how I apply my creativity into the things that we're doing. And yeah, shit, man, like where I'm at now, I wish I could go back in time 3 years and just hand the stuff that we've been working on for these past couple of months, Flavia. Is like, I wish I could just go back in time three years ago and just hand it to me, because my life would be drastically different if that was the case.
Yeah, exactly. And my story is not that different. When I started with coaching, I was, first of all, I was taught to go about finding clients, doing cold calls. I tried that. It just didn't feel right. Not that I didn't have any success with it, but I just didn't like doing things like that. So then when I started going to digital marketing, I started taking all these courses, and I always wanted to do things in a certain way, but I couldn't really follow through, and I was driving myself insane. I was working well over 14 hours a day. Yep. I would spend at least a couple of nights a week awake all night working and trying to do all the technical stuff, website and all this and all that. And really, it wasn't taking me really to the place I wanted to get, because I was just exhausting myself. I thought that the more that I do, the more that I look at these things, and the more that I execute, I didn't have a plan of action. I didn't have a system to follow, and not just a system in the sense that we all know that the words system, structure, and routine sound absolutely disgusting to us. We don't like those things, right? It took me maybe 4 years seeing my psychologist. After I got diagnosed with ADHD, I started seeing a psychologist every month as I was going, especially a period where I just didn't know what I was doing with myself and with my business. And she kept telling me about structure and routine and things like that. I was like, I had to try everything you can think of, because it sounds simple, right? You just schedule and you do it and that's it. But it's not that easy. So I tried a billion different things until I realized, hold on a second, I'm actually starting to build some sort of consistency here. I can sleep now. I can get everything I need to get in 6 hours of work in the day. And then, because I did so well, I don't have that feeling of guilt or pressure on myself because I got stuff done. So I'm actually able to switch off and go hang out with people and do other things that I wasn't able to do before. And I can lay my head on the pillow at night and I fall asleep. And my life completely changed. And that's what we want to help you do. You can grow your business. You can succeed as an entrepreneur with ADHD. But you need to be able to focus your time, effort, and energy towards the activities that will actually help you grow your business. And I'm not just that for the sake of saying it. I posted a research little article in the group where these guys interviewed a bunch of ADHD entrepreneurs, and they said that 2/3 of them weren't doing that great, but the 1/3 of them that were doing great, the only difference, the only thing that they were doing that was different from the rest was that they learned how to make sure they were spending their time and effort into the activities that were going to be relevant to grow their business. So we have amazing qualities because of having ADHD. ADHD, sorry, I choked. But that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to succeed. And that's unfortunate because we have all these brilliant ideas, but we're not the best people at executing. Otherwise, maybe you are good at trying to execute 5 things at once. And I don't know if it's working for you, but the point that I'm trying to get across is think about it. How is your business doing right now? How do you operate within your business? How is it growing? Is it growing? Are you at a point where you might be considering going back to a day job because your business is not doing that great? Would you like to change that? Or do you want to really close business and go back to working in a 9-to-5 job? If that's something you don't want to do, if you do want your business to do well, the only thing that you need to learn is to be able to get stuff done that is relevant to your business. And we're going to help you learn how you can do that and stay on track. Get it done in 6 hours every day, 5 days a week, so you can have time off. Because remember, hyper-focus is good in certain circumstances, but if it's turning into overdrive and you're burning out, you all know what burnout does. Stress, anxiety, we cannot sleep very well, we don't eat very well, we're not healthy. And what does that do to our executive function, our cognitive function? It goes to shit, right? And if we don't look after that, then our ADHD gets worse and worse. And how's that going to affect your business? So it's a life-changing, it's just great.
Yeah, I mean, if I can only pull one testimonial outside of us from what we're talking about that we're going to be talking on Thursday, on how to build your business and grow it in 6 hours a day with it being an ADHD entrepreneur, I could ask my wife, and my wife, ever since we've finalized kind of what this looks like, and we've been using it ourselves. Like Flavia said, I was also working 12, 14 hours a day. I was only thinking about my business 24/7, not really spending time with friends or family or even my wife, and I live with her, and now we've gotten to the point where almost every day we do something, we go do something together. We have time to just sit down and talk. We have time to make dinner together and sit down and eat together and just, be with each other. I've the past 3 weeks I've been able to go out and actually hang out with friends and make phone calls to the people that I don't get to see as much, and take control of my own personal life. I'm back in the gym. I'm eating right. I'm sleeping better. I'm going to sleep at a good time. I'm waking up at a good time. I'm making connections that mean a lot, that are helping me move forward with my own aspirations. I'm taking time to, I'm finally getting time back to sit down and just read. Doing simple, basic things and taking care of myself and the ones around me is, outside of just the business aspect, is what we're going to be talking on Thursday is going to help you with. It's also going to help you be able to take control of your business and grow it. And it's a pretty exciting thing. So that's the one testimonial we could get, is my wife.
Yeah. Same for my fiance. It's the same thing. I used to just be I was here, but I wasn't really. Exactly. He would be the whole thing because I obsessing. And that's not how you want things to be. Even if your business is doing great, but if you're working like 14, 16 hours a day, where's your life? Really? And then you realize that sometimes we're just doing for the sake of doing, but it's not actually moving us anywhere, and it's compromising the quality of life that we have. What's the point of having a great business, but you don't have a life? Unless that's just how you want to live it, that's fine. But I think most of us, I think it's safe to say that if you're able to get it all done, and you have the confidence that you can stop now and go chill out, because the next day you have everything in place to do it again in 6 hours, go and nail it. I can't describe.
Game changing, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it really is.
So yeah, I mean, if you guys want, I mean, this is something you guys need to be checking out. On Thursday, we are going to be going live at 7 p.m. EST, same time as we're doing it today, and going to be showing you and talking about and explaining how you can go about building a business with ADHD as an entrepreneur in 6 hours a day, and just make a massive difference in your business and a massive difference in your personal life, because that's the reason why we all went this entrepreneurial path, because the 9-to-5 thing didn't work quite well for us, and also we want more time for ourselves and for our family and friends, and this is what it's all about, and this, what we're talking about on Thursday, is a solution to that problem, something that we've all experienced, that I sure as hell for at least 2 years dealt with, and Flavia, I know the same thing for her, and tons of other entrepreneurs and ADHD entrepreneurs out there struggle with this problem daily, with no real end in sight. And so when we looked through all of you guys' responses, we said, you know, this thing that we both developed together, that we built for ourselves, is a solution to all these problems that you guys have been putting out there and saying that you're struggling with, and how to follow through and have consistency and work in an effective way and have control of your business and not feel like you're overwhelmed all the time, and have direction and clarity and know what you're going to be doing day to day, and knowing that what you're doing is going to be moving that needle in the positive direction, growing your fucking business and building it into the thing that you dreamed it to be. And that's what this shit's about. So I'm sorry, I'm getting a little hyped over here. But
no,
Thursday, 7 p.m. EST, this is all going down, and you guys need to tune in.
Yeah, if you're really not, like, just look at the way your business is going. If you're not happy, this is the time to do something about it, right? Because the other thing we understand is, if you're struggling and you have ADHD, what can you do to get help? You go and find a business coach, but we've had someone in the group mention that they've considered working with a business coach, but they wouldn't understand the way she operates, because obviously she has ADHD. Or you can go and get an ADHD coach, but they're more towards the side of helping you handle your ADHD. So who is out there really helping us with trying to grow and run a business, having ADHD and maintaining our quality of life? So there's a massive gap there, and this is what we're going to feel. We're going to merge the two together, and you don't have to go and spend thousands of dollars seeing a business coach and an ADHD coach. We've put it together in a way that you can implement and use it for the rest of your business life, and we cannot wait to tell you all about it on Thursday and start showing you how this is done, how you can do this in 6 hours a day, and we'll tell you all on Thursday. So if you don't show up, you are denying yourself a great opportunity here to change things around, and in 5 years' time, you're going to regret you didn't do this now. So I hope to see you there.
All right, guys. Well, on that note, we'll be making some posts in the group to remind you guys to come in and tune in on Thursday. Again, you need to let us know what are some things that you're struggling with that we can make the theme for this month for you. So let us know in the poll in the group. And until then, guys, we'll be back on Thursday. It's been real. Have a great night.
Thank you.